From a shiny new list of new contenders to the same old opponents, Eugene Bareman reveals Israel Adesanya's next opponent. Israel Adesanya is at it again, and this time, it seems he has no plans of going down his previous path, not one bit, as Eugene Bareman has made it immensely apparent. Apparent that he'd like his fighter to get some new looks, to discover a new taste. After all, if I've fought someone a total of 4 times, I'd like to see something new too. Imagine going to a restaurant and challenging yourself to eat the biggest, baddest steak on the menu, only to discover that it beats you. You were so close, yet so far. So here comes your rematch the next day. This dino platter is going to know who you are, and you're going to claim this prize money. But you've lost worse than you did initially. Stomach bloated, face green. You never want to see that steak again, but you know there's no way, absolutely none, that you'll let it conquer you. So you go at it again. Mama didn't raise no quitter. And so you try again, and you conquer it, and you finally get your prize. Even after defeating this challenge so many times, would you want to try again? I'm sure you wouldn't. Who would? And I think that's where Bareman comes from. Repetition is something that is needed in life, but not to this extent. No way. And after earning his title back, I think that Adesanya deserves that much. 4 fights back-to-back against his nemesis Pereira, 3 of which all ended in defeat, only for his final one, his most recent, to end in a stunning knockout. While no one is saying that's how it should have gone or that's what they wanted to see, I, for one, after seeing Pereira's son taught Adesanya, I'm happy to see such an outcome. Adesanya deserves his title back, and thankfully he's earned it with flying colors. But let's rewind. Was this just a normal match between 2 martial arts masters, or was this a little more? We all know how people in the combat sport business like to egg on the crowd and make it seem as though there's crazy bad blood. But truth be told, there's absolutely none. Not this time. Adesanya, after had been knocked out by Pereira. We call this old-fashioned revenge, and thankfully we here on the channel can say, Adesanya did it, mano a mano. Most people would have aimed to change their fighting style to address their weaknesses. But Adesanya? He had absolutely no intention of doing so. Pereira had his timing, his fighting style after the dramatic upset at the UFC 281. After losing his belt, Adesanya fought against Pereira several more times in both kickboxing and the MMA scene, and both ended in Alex Pereira coming out on top, previously even putting Adesanya down with a vicious TKO. But I bet you're asking how it went down in such a way. Was Alex Pereira just that much better? Well, the sad truth of the matter is that Adesanya had the upper hand for each round, providing immense pressure and absolutely inhuman reaction times to Pereira's powerful kicks. It came down to the most critical of moments. Pereira seemed wary, exhausted, like he could drop. He was going to drop only for an absolute ghost of an uppercut to come clean under Adesanya's guard, knocking Adesanya to the ground in the 5th round.
My goodness!
He did it again!
He did it again!
Wow!
In the final round!
The crowd went wild, and Pereira went home the victor, much to the dismay of the Adesanya fan base. But as you all know, that wasn't it. Adesanya smelled blood in the water, and once more issued the challenge. Many of the 3 previous engagements had already counted him out. If something happened twice before, then any logical person can expect the 3rd to go the same. But no. During the fight, Pereira was on the up and up, providing pokes with a stiff leg to Adesanya, while Adesanya kept his defense up. Pushed against the cage, it looked grim. But then it seemed as though Pereira missed a key fact. This was the last style bender, and he deserves respect. A lightning-quick hook came to the cheek, sending Pereira's head twisting and certainly his brain scrambling. Eating it like a champ, it seemed as though there was nothing on the punch until finally, boom. Another came, but this one was like a laser cutting through Pereira's defenses and sending him to the mat. The crowd goes wild. Adesanya had achieved revenge and defied the odds, defied the Pereira fan base, and defied probability itself. Revenge was his and he had reclaimed his belt, but that's not all. When wronged, you can forgive. You can forget, but Adesanya did none of those things. Much like Pereira's son had. Adesanya threw an index finger to the family of his opponent and then fell to the mat, a show that he could easily be as petty as they were, and rightfully so. Like I said, I would have changed my game plan. If something isn't working, I'm going to fix it. But Adesanya stood his ground, desiring a knockout, standing up, rather than through submission or other means. What more? 60 seconds. Adesanya had 60 seconds in the second round to seal the deal, and he does so masterfully. There's been plenty of speculation as to what's next for Pereira and Adesanya. After all, both have fought each other a total of 4 times, and many believe that soon there's going to be a 5th and maybe 6th bout. I can tell you that outcome is highly unlikely, as Pereira has moved to the lightweight division, and Eugene Bareman doesn't have much more intention of seeing Adesanya fight Pereira again, which is valid. The fans want to see something new, the coaches want to see something new, and certainly Adesanya and Pereira want to see something new. Speculation is, whoever Adesanya may be going up against is all but confirmed now. Moments after reclaiming his middleweight title, Khamzat Chimaev made an expected request. The fighter asked Dana White, the UFC president, to set up a fight between he and Adesanya. Geez, the man couldn't give Adesanya some time to savor his victory? Heck, I don't blame him. If I could issue the hands right after such a grand victory while the fighting style is fresh in my mind, I'd do it 100% every single time. Though Chimaev isn't the only contender to become Adesanya's next opponent. Not at all. Adesanya's former opponent Marvin Vettori has also expressed great interest, taking to Twitter to congratulate the recent middleweight winner. Good game. Down the road we'll do a 3rd time. Having fought twice in the past, it seems very likely for Vettori and Adesanya to have a 3rd go at it. Another prospect seemed to be former opponent Jan Blachowicz, seeming eager to have his name written down inside of Adesanya's death note. But the catch this time being the first person to have beaten Adesanya. Blachowicz is ready to take on Adesanya once more, however this time with the middleweight title on the line. These dudes are fiends! Though I respect their hustle, I think that they're not closing in on a victory. And if they really want to fight, I say give it to them tenfold. Thankfully, being that this rivalry between Adesanya and Pereira has finally concluded. We'll be seeing a lot more faces greeting the last stylebender in the octagon. And while normal folks, like me, would rather just chill with our title in hand, the type of character Adesanya doesn't seem to be the type. I bet he's in the gym right now preparing and training for not only Chimaev, but Vettori and Blachowicz. The new title hold has his hands full, as many say. No rest for the wicked, and while Adesanya may not be evil, his skills certainly give him the right to call himself so. So what do you think about all of this? Did you believe Adesanya would pull it off? Or did you expect him to carry home another L on his forehead? Definitely let me know all about it. So from same old opponents to a shiny new list of new contenders, this was Eugene Bareman revealing Israel Adesanya's next opponent.